Welcome to today's video on designing a fall truck.
Let's go to tinkercad.com. Now we'll log in using our school Gmail account, and you can join your teacher's classroom using her class code. Once you've logged in, your screen should look like this. Click the Create button and select 3D Design to begin designing your project.
To get started, we'll go over and select the search tool from the side menu and we'll search for a car. You might have to scroll down a bit and then you should be able to find an orange truck, and we'll go ahead and drag that onto our work plane. Then we'll rotate it 90 degrees so it's parallel with our point of view. We'll select it and drag it over to the side a bit so that we have space to work. And then next, we'll drag a hollow box onto our work plane and enlarge it a bit. Then go ahead and drag this towards the back half of the orange car. Select both components by dragging your cursor over both of them and then group so that the front portion of our truck is cut out. This will serve as the front of our fall truck, and to resize it, I'm going to go ahead and click Shift on my computer so we can reserve the ratio and then drag it till the width is about 2.5 or 2 1/4 of an inch. Next, I'm going to stop clicking the Shift key and I'll drag the height to about 2 inches. And now to make the back of the truck, I'm going to use a rectangular prism. This is going to be a solid rectangular prism, and I'll go to the side view and adjust the width so it matches the width of the trunk's front component, like so. And once you think you've got the width about right, we'll return to the home view, select both components, and use the Align tool to align them along the center axis so that the front is perfectly aligned with the back. Then we can go ahead and adjust the length of the rectangular prism to about 2.5 inches, or 2 3/4 also works. And then we'll go to the front view, select the rectangular prism, and use the arrow to drag it upwards so that the back of the truck is flush with the front of the truck. Now we're going to grab a hollow rectangular prism onto our work plane and we'll adjust the width so that it is just slightly less than the solid rectangular prism, and so that we have a bit of a rim remaining. And then I'll adjust it by dragging it downwards, selecting both components and grouping so that we can hollow out the back of the truck. Now to start designing the tires for our truck, I'm going to go ahead and drag a polygon onto our work plane and we'll rotate it to be -30 degrees so that it's aligned with our work plane and will be the same alignment as the other tire. Then I'm adjusting the height to 1/4 of an inch, and I'm changing the color to match the black rim of the initial tire. Then I'm going to copy paste the same hexagon component, adjust the size a bit, drag it upwards, select both components, and use the Align tool to align the inner and outside part of the wheel. Then I'm adjusting the inside part to a light gray to match the first tire that I already have, adjusting the size a bit to also match the front tire that we have from our initial car design, and then I'm making a copy. Now I'm going to select one of the tires and rotate it 90 degrees in one direction, and the other tire will do the same thing but rotate the tire in the opposite direction. Now I'll take the first one, drag it over to the side of my truck, and align it as per my liking. Then I'm going to raise it a bit so it's not going underneath my work plane and is perfectly flush with the top of my work plane, like so. Then I'm going to go to the second wheel. So I'm adjusting the viewpoint, and then I'm going to select the tire component, drag it so it's aligned just as the previous one was, and I'll again raise it so it's flush with the top of my work plane, like so. Now to fill my truck with pumpkins, I'm going to use the search feature again, and I'm going to search for pumpkins in the search bar. And then I'll go ahead and drag one of the pumpkins onto my work plane and adjust the size before I place it into the trunk. Once I'm happy with the size, I'll raise it up a bit, drag it over into the trunk, and now I'm ready for the second pumpkin. Again, I'm going to drag it onto the side, adjust the sizes, and then now you can even tilt and rotate it slightly to customize the placement of your pumpkin and how it'll look. And then again, I'm going to put it in the trunk of my truck. Once it's already in the trunk area, you can continue to adjust the size of your pumpkin until you're happy with how it looks, like I'm doing here. And now we're ready to start designing the thankful sign for our truck. So to do that, I'm going to drag a cylinder onto my work plane, and I'm going to adjust the width to be about 1/8 by 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to raise its height and drag it over so that it overlaps slightly with the base of my trunk. And then I'm going to copy paste and use the arrow key to slide this component over to the side. And now I have the two pillars that my sign is going to be perched up on top. In my case, I'm dragging up the cylinder slightly so that I have space for the sign to come on top without overlapping on the pumpkins. And then I'm dragging a square onto my work plane, adjusting the width to 1/8 of an inch, adjusting the height to about 3/4 of an inch. And here you can customize this height. And then I'm dragging the entire component upwards and overlapping it with the rods for my sign to be perched on. And then I'm continuing to adjust the height of my sign and its placement in the truck. Now I'm going to adjust the width of the sign. Remember not to press shift, otherwise the height will also increase as you do this. And then I'm going to decide to drag this up slightly so that it's not overlapping with the pumpkins that are already in my truck. And in my case, I'm also having to adjust the rods so that my sign design looks complete, like so. Then I'm clicking group for both the rods and the rectangular prism, and I'm dragging text over. And now I'm going to adjust that text. Be careful to make sure your text does not flip over while you do this, and if it does, feel free to grab another text component, adjust the size carefully, and here you can kind of customize it to a size that works for your truck. And I'm just going to take a moment to size it and arrange it onto my sign. And then I'm going to change the text to thankful, as per the examples that I have in the back of my work plane as well. And I'll have to readjust the size of my text, so that is what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to adjust the size, and you can choose if you'd like to have the text protruding outwards or if you'd like it to be cut out. So currently I'm just going to fix the sizing for mine and the alignment, like so. And make sure that it is not completely flush with the base of the sign, because then when you group it, it will not show as cut out, like so. So I'm going to continue to resize this a bit. And there you have it. Now I've successfully cut out the words thankful from the base of my sign, and I have my truck with pumpkins and a sign for the holiday season. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.